Hello and welcome. You're watching News Central Television. I am Judith TB. It's time for News Central now, and here are the top stories of this hour. As fuel scarcity looms, Ipman seeks government action on supply, threatens to halt distribution. The President Bola Tinubu Sultan seek prayers for Nigeria as Ramadan begins. And survivors of M23 rally attack recount horror after twin blast shock eastern DR Congo. Details shortly. And let's begin in the energy sector. Nigeria's may soon face severe fuel scarcity as long queues return to filling stations across major cities. The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria has issued a 7-day ultimatum to the government demanding urgent action on fuel supply issues or risk a nationwide shutdown of distribution. News Central's Bettina Unweli reports.
Fuel shortages are hitting Lagos and other parts of Nigeria, with tanker drivers halting fuel loading over alleged harassment by government officials. In a strongly worded statement, Ipman blamed the crisis on supply disruptions, rising transportation costs, and alleged hoarding by private depot owners.
If you have issues as regards the truck operation, we believe should be informed, and necessary time should be given to us. If there is any vehicle that's idle or whatever, necessary hours should be given for it to clear. You see, because we operate under strenuous environment, meaning that sometimes you come and you be keen, or you can have puncture, you can have, because of the heat, overheating. Naturally, every transport operation has its own issues.
While the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has downplayed the crisis, citing logistical issues and panic buying, Ipman warns that without swift government intervention, a nationwide shutdown is imminent.
Hopefully, by next week, we'll also come back here to be able to, inform the public whether this money has been paid or whether and total amount of money that was supposed to be paid. But marketers vehemently, I want to repeat myself, that marketers vehemently has complained that this money is long overdue.
Many Nigerians remain skeptical as fuel shortages have become a recurring challenge despite the country's status as a major oil producer. Analysts caution that if the situation is not resolved swiftly, it could drive up inflation and cripple businesses already struggling in a tough economic climate. With Ipman's deadline fast approaching, all eyes are on the government and oil marketers to prevent a full-blown crisis. In Lagos, for News Central, I am Bettina Unwili.
Away from that, the ongoing feud between Senate President Godswill Akpabio and Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan has taken a new twist. This is as Unoma Akpabio, the wife of the Senate President, has filed lawsuits against Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan. Unoma Akpabio filed two separate suits at the Federal Capital Territory High Court, Abuja, accusing Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan of defamation and violating her family's fundamental rights. The legal action follows Akpoti-Uduaghan's recent claims that her troubles in the Senate began after she allegedly rejected sexual advances from the Senate President. In the first suit, Unoma Akpabio alleges that the senator's statements caused her emotional trauma and left her and her children living in fear. She is demanding that the courts declare the statements a violation of her dignity under the Nigerian Constitution and the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. She is also seeking 250 billion naira in damages and a perpetual injunction preventing Akpoti-Uduaghan from making further allegations. In the second suit for defamation, Unoma Akpabio challenges Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan's claims that her husband made inappropriate advances towards her. She describes the allegations as false, malicious, and damaging, saying they have tarnished her family's reputation. Staying with legal matters, the ECOWAS, the Community Court for the ECOWAS, that's the Community Court of Justice, has dismissed a case filed against the federal government of Nigeria over the 1996 assassination of Kudirat Abiola, wife of MKO Abiola, the winner of the June 12, 1993 presidential election. The suit was brought by Khalifa Abiola, Moriam Abiola, and Hadi Abiola, who argued that the Nigerian government failed to hold Kudirat's killers accountable, despite a commission of inquiry identifying a key suspect, Sergeant Barnabas Jibali. In its ruling, Justice Edward Amuako Asante stated that the applicants lacked the legal standing to sue as they failed to establish a direct legal relationship with Kudirat or present a valid mandate to act on behalf of her estate. Away from that, President Bola Tinubu has assured Nigerians of the commitment of the present administration to usher a new era of prosperity and development. This was as President Tinubu signed the nation's 2025 Appropriations Act into law, estimated at 54.99 trillion naira, paving way for the legal implementation of the budget. Amadin Uyi reports.
The day started with a visit by Super Bowl champion Moro Ojomo, who had visited the president in company of the chairman of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission. Ojomo outlined his vision for Nigeria to the president, which was warmly welcomed.
The NFL right now is the largest sport in America. It's not close. There's no competitors really. When you look at it from a money standpoint, from a viewership standpoint, from a passion standpoint, my idea is a facility that encompasses both things, where we have youth training to have the opportunity to be educated overseas, because high schools and colleges are very interested in finding talent wherever. And Nigeria didn't even go and look for the NFL. The NFL came and looked for Nigerians.
Seeing you as a citizen from blood,
Yes.
as a Nigerian, bringing back the memory of that Super Bowl finish, the carrying Nigerian flag and all of that, is just of a tremendous impact on me. If you have any recommendation or pathway on what I could do to make it better, work faster,
Yes.
let me know.
The big event of the day then commenced, which was the signing of the 2025 Appropriations Act into law.
It has been a collaborative effort based on consultation, based on cooperation, and robust analysis.
Your reforms are working. So when you came to the National Assembly with a very ambitious budget of 49.7 trillion, little did we know that working with your team, we'll find a way to discover other sources of bringing revenue in. And today, you are about to make history by signing the largest budget ever done in the history of Nigeria since independence, 54.7 trillion.
President Bola Tinubu assured citizens that Nigeria's best days are ahead and is committed to ushering in that era.
There are no dust in our faces, and there are no tears in our cheeks. We work together as brothers and sisters, collaborate with Nigerians. After the initial turbulence, and the takeoff was very, very cloudy and uncertain, today we see a light at the end of the tunnel.
With the budget now signed, activities for the 2025 fiscal year can now commence immediately. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadin Uyi.
Reactions have continued to trail the Supreme Court's judgment on Rivers Assembly crisis. And let's start with the Rivers State government acknowledging reports of the judgment regarding the state's funds and local government administration. While awaiting a detailed briefing on the implications of the ruling, the government has assured citizens that it will carefully evaluate the situation and take necessary steps to protect the state's interest and uphold the rule of law. In a statement, the government urged residents to remain calm and law-abiding, emphasizing that the defection of 27 lawmakers is still pending at the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt. The government reaffirmed its commitment to upholding its mandate to protect the best interests of Rivers State and its people. Meanwhile, former governor of Rivers State and minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has commended the Supreme Court judgment, saying it reaffirmed the supremacy of the law.
For the entire state, it's unheard of. It has nothing to do with any individual, whether you like this person's face or not. But it is what is important, that can three people make law for a state, not to talk about appropriation. The Federal High Court said, you can't do this. You cannot do it. And therefore, set aside everything they've done. 3 people who screen commissioners, 3 people with all kinds of things. A governor will go and bring down the House of Legislature and will do as if nothing has happened. Arm of government, independent arm of government. And people pretend as if nothing has gone wrong. And you're talking about Wiki. It's not about Wiki. It's not about me. What we're saying is, can you, for whatever it is, go and demolish the building of another arm of government? No consequences.
Rivers State's governance structure has been thrown into disarray after the Supreme Court nullified the election of 23 local government chairmen. Now, this ruling, combined with a previous one upholding or withholding federal allocations, has sparked concerns among residents who fear they will bear the brunt of protracted litigations. The state's political instability may scare away investors, undermining the economy. In the midst of all this, the Rivers State House of Assembly has held an emergency sitting to address the situation, with many believing the Supreme Court's decision is not in the best interest of the people.
Rivers State, because I do not understand the reason why the Supreme Court of Nigeria want to stiff a state from receiving allocation. So I don't know how they are asking the governor to survive the state. People are tied to the state governor in salary, in health, in capital development. So where do we go from here? I don't know whether in Rivers State, whether there are 2 constitutions that is operating. There is one that is always different when it comes to issue of Rivers State.
It's discouraging, so we don't know who to follow. But we still believe our governor that he must find a way to this, because we love him and we want to stand by him.
The courts, the learned men who are there, they know what it is. Present your matter, this one present their matter, they look at it and they will give the verdict. So today they have given verdict that the governor is not doing well. So we all believe in the rule of law.
The system of government in Nigeria, they no make am to favor poor man, to favor ordinary man. Within they fight, all of them they fight for their pocket. All of them they fight for their family. All the shaku now for them, now for their own good.
They say judiciary is the last hope of common man. Who is the common man that will go to judiciary now to protest against the common right? No way. When the justice in the judiciary are wrong. The leader we are having today, they are not the leader. Rather, they are working for the devil, the infinite spirit. They are not working for the light. They are the evil. They want to collapse this country.
We want to say that this whole judgment is anti-Rivers State and anti-Rivers people. We will not want anything that will cripple the economy of these states.
The investors will be so scared of investing their money in the states, because right now, we don't know where we are.
We cannot fathom how the Supreme Court would want to stop allocation that is coming to Rivers States. Recall, that Rivers State is the gold that lays the golden egg. The monies that feeds the other parts of the country comes from Rivers State. And I do not know how stakeholders will be able to manage and live with the fact that monies meant for Rivers State is being withheld on the auspices of Supreme Court order. This is rather sad, and it shows that our country, we are still underdeveloped.
The Supreme Court has ordered that the revenue accruing to the state should be withheld. Honorable members, this is a victory for democracy. It's a victory for the rule of law. And this goes to show that indeed we have three arms of government. It goes to show that the principles of separation of powers as enshrined by the system of government we operate today has to be obeyed and complied with.
You're watching News Now on News Central Television. Let's go on our first break. When we return, court adjoins impeached Speaker of Lagos State House of Assembly's lawsuit to March 7th. We have the details just after this break. Join us again. Welcome back. The impeached Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Budashiru Obasa, has been granted a temporary reprieve as Justice Yetunde Rukayat Pihiro of the Lagos State High Court adjourned the hearing of all pending applications in his lawsuit till March 7th. Obasa is challenging his removal as Speaker, which he claims was unlawful. His lawsuit, filed on February the 14th, names the Lagos State government, the Assembly, and the new Speaker, Lasbat Mojisola Miranda, as defendants. In a twist, lawmakers loyal to Speaker Miranda submitted an application to join the case as defendants, adding complexities to the already contentious legal battle. Obasa's impeachment followed accusations of misconduct, abuse of office, and financial impropriety, which sparked intense internal wrangling within the Assembly. After days of deliberations and submissions from various stakeholders, the House of Representatives has concluded its three-day public hearing on the tax reform bills. While the reforms aim to enhance Nigeria's revenue system, stakeholders have expressed concerns over potential economic implications. Our correspondent Idong Joseph has more. We will bring you that report in our subsequent bulletin. In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu has called on all Nigerians to unite in prayer and action for the nation's continued growth and development, seeking Allah's guidance and protection as Ramadan begins. He made the call in an address to Muslim faithful in the country. The president also encouraged Muslims to strengthen their bonds with Allah and one another. The president expressed hope that during the holy month, both words and actions will showcase a collective commitment to peace, unity, and progress. In the meantime, the Sultan of Sokoto, Saeed Abubakar III, has urged all Muslims to dedicate the holy month to prayers, seeking Allah's blessings and guidance for the nation and its leaders. Meanwhile, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the 2023 elections, Atiku Abubakar, has urged governments at all levels to take concrete steps to ease the burden on citizens. In a statement on his official X page on Friday, Atiku emphasized the importance of generosity, urging Nigerians to extend support beyond their immediate families. He also called on Muslims and Nigerians to use the holy month of Ramadan as an opportunity for charity, compassion, and prayers for the nation's progress, peace, and development. And now to politics. The National Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Senator Bashir Ajibola, declared that there will be no vacancy in Aso Rock in 2027, urging Nigerians to rally behind President Bola Tinubu's administration. Speaking in Ilorin at an empowerment program organized by Senator Saliu Mustafa, Ajibola highlighted the achievement of Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, particularly in food security. Minister of Agriculture Abubakar Kyari also affirmed the Tinubu's reforms, saying that it had improved food availability and affordability. The event, attended by top government officials, saw Mustafa provide scholarships, grinding machines, cows, and tractors to beneficiaries. Stakeholders in Plateau State have converged on the capital city, Jos, to further brainstorm on ways of impacting lives of victims of violence in some parts of the state. Put together by the Norwegian Refugee Council, this is aimed at ensuring that these victims do not fall back on their setbacks, rather continuously work towards improving their livelihood in the different areas of intervention they have benefited from. News Central's Chizoba Anyonwe tells us more.
For more than 20 years, Plateau State had witnessed recurring violence in some parts of the state, forcing many into abject poverty, having taken them away from their various means of livelihoods. The Norwegian Refugee Council, in partnership with the German government, says this intervention is to put a smile on their faces again in the areas of skills acquisition, conflict resolution, improved farming and education, among others. Sustainability of this project remains key area of concern for improved livelihoods for these beneficiaries.
We try to assess how they were making use of the skills or the knowledge that they gained through our trainings. So based on the feedback and the learning, we try now to adjust our design in terms of activities, making sure that we just don't go with the same set of activities, but activities that can really last long.
We are hopeful that with the approaches that we've discussed today in terms of access to market, in terms of access to sustainable finance, and why not even in terms of access to microfinance organizations.
With this effort and then with government institutionalizing some of the activities that have been brought about by NRC, I believe that a great deal of things will be achieved for the well-being of the citizens.
The beneficiaries have this to say.
Since from the inception of this program, I think I'm now okay. I'm now getting better, and I can do so many things which I don't even have, which I was not even having the idea of doing them. So I think now I can stand and help myself.
Na riga na ji daɗin shi don saboda dama gonan ina yin shi dan daidai, amma yanzu na faɗaɗa shi alheri na riga na gan shi, ina kuma samu ci gaba domin saboda in na samu wannan amfani ba cinye shi duka zan yi ba, in na cinye shi duka ka gani na abin nan kenan ban nemi ci gaba ba.
I am financially independent. When I make things, I sell them and get some profits, provide for my needs, and also save up for other things that maybe emergencies, and also I'm saving up to go back to school.
It is hoped that in years to come, tremendous achievements would have been recorded in their lives and means of livelihood within their communities as well. In Plateau for News Central, Chizoba Anyonwe.
And you're welcome back. Many thanks to Chizoba there for that report. In the meantime, in response to the rising cases of drug abuse and domestic violence in Nigeria's northwest region, the federal government has launched a 4-month campaign aimed at tackling these social vices, with 14.3 million Nigerians aged 14 to 54 reportedly using psychoactive substances, many of them from the northwest. Stakeholders are calling for sustained awareness and community engagement to address the crisis.
This gathering of stakeholders comes at a critical time when drug abuse has become a national crisis, further compounding the security challenge that have plagued the region for over a decade. The campaign themed Stop Drug Abuse and Violence in Our Communities aims to raise awareness, engage local communities and mobilize stakeholders to combat drug addiction and its devastating impact on society.
The future of a region depends on the decisive actions we take today. Let us unite our efforts to protect our youth from the destructive allure of drugs and uphold the rights and dignities of every Nigerian.
The Northwest, like other regions of Nigeria, has seen a surge in drug-related crimes, addiction, and social decay. Drug abuse is not only a law enforcement issue. It is a public health crisis, a social problem, and an economic burden. is even more disturbing is the fact that 1 in 4 drug users is female, and 1 in 5 drug abusers is suffering from drug use disorder.
Stakeholders also emphasized the importance of intelligence-driven interventions and sustained public awareness campaigns to address the growing crisis effectively.
The legal framework governing drug control must be reinforced and enforcement mechanisms strengthened to ensure that traffickers and enablers of this illicit trade face the full force of the law. The menace of drug abuse and the circulation of illicit drugs is not just a national challenge, but a crisis that threatens the very fabric of our society. However, drug abuse does not exist in isolation. Research has shown a direct link between drug abuse, violent crimes, and especially domestic crime.
Kano State was identified as having the highest drug abuse prevalence at 16.0%, followed by Zamfara at 13.5%, Kebbi at 12.6%, Katsina at 12.6%, Kaduna at 10%, Sokoto 9%, and Jigawa at 7%. With this campaign, stakeholders hope to curb the rising tide of substance abuse and domestic violence while fostering a safer and healthier society.
Health experts in Nigeria have raised concerns over the poor awareness, dangers of late diagnosis and unavailable treatment of kidney failures among adult Nigerians. Now, they say many affected individuals are left undiagnosed until the situation reaches an advanced stage, thus leaving the victims in complex and life-threatening situations. Our correspondent Joshua Murai reports.
Findings from the African Association of Nephrology have indicated the high prevalence of kidney failure among adult Nigerians. According to the report, obesity and diabetes were identified as the leading risk factors for the condition, contributing significantly to a growing health crisis. Despite this alarming trend, the lack of awareness and limited access to early diagnosis and treatment has left many affected individuals undiagnosed until the disease reaches an advanced stage.
The initial early stages of the disease is, it doesn't present with any symptoms. So a lot of people are just walking on the street with early stages of this disease.
In a bid to raise awareness about the dangers of harmful habits that lead to kidney dysfunction in Nigeria, a group of individuals has announced a football campaign to highlight the rising prevalence of the disease, which has resulted in lower life expectancy and economic losses.
And so this awareness, we believe, using the platform of football that we know that quite a number of people will watch, will help us to pass that message out there.
It's basically an avenue for us to sensitize the general public, and we're using football as a platform to bring people together and talk about the prevalent kidney diseases, and also teach us or guide us on how to be careful in preventing such.
Health experts are calling for urgent interventions, including public awareness campaigns, lifestyle modification, and improved access to routine medical checkups. They say that early detection and preventive measures are key to reducing the growing burden of kidney disease in Nigeria. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Marai.
Crimes against women and girls have reached alarming levels in recent times, with a rising number of reported deaths linked to gender-based violence. In Lagos, the Pathology Department of the State Police Command convened a symposium to examine the causes of femicide, analyze available data, and explore solutions to curb this growing threat. News Central's lead correspondent Ben Adakede has the report.
In recent months, the rising cases of gender-based violence have led to tragic deaths of women and girls across Lagos and beyond. However, solving these crimes remains a challenge due to multiple factors, including societal attitude, legal loopholes, and investigative hurdles. To better understand femicide and find ways to combat it, the Pathology Department of Lagos State Police Command has been gathering criminal data, shedding light on the patterns, causes, and challenges associated with these killings.
Femicide is an extreme form of gender-based violence inflicted on the girl child and women. It is intentional killing of the woman or a girl child on the negative assumption and stereotype about their gender and disregard for the protection of their human rights.
Some argue that provocation plays a role in gender-based violence, but legal experts insist that no circumstances justifies taking a life.
It's very, very important for people to seek therapy if they have anger management issue, for people to seek community support and other kind of assistance that can help them deal with issues that can escalate to them committing femicide.
Given the complexity of femicide cases, law enforcement officers often encounter significant obstacles in their investigations. Police officials at the symposium emphasized the need for collective efforts from all sectors of society to effectively tackle this issue.
Number one is data, inappropriate data collection. I'm very sure we're going to improve on that. So where we can have appropriate data on not only on perpetrators, like the police will usually do, but we need to have data on the victims as well. Infrastructures, we need to digitize our record keeping, and at the same time be able to analyze them appropriately and actually make recommendations. Part of the police job is actually crime prevention. So we need to make all this so that those who are concerned can give those political backing to it and make appropriate laws to be able to stop femicide in our society.
Our take-home is that the police is committed to ensuring that we respond effectively to cases of femicide in our society, but most importantly, we can't do it alone. We need the partnership, we need the collaboration of stakeholders.
A global report by UN Women and UN Office of Drug and Crime reveals that in 2023 alone, 51,000 women worldwide were killed by intimate partners or family members. Africa accounted for 21,700 of these cases, making femicide a pressing concern on the continent. With March recognized globally as Women's Month, officers of the Lagos State Police Command believe this is a crucial time to raise awareness and encourage proactive measures to combat femicide. In Lagos for News Central, I'm Bernard Akede.
The Registrar of the National Examinations Council, NECO, Professor Datani Ibrahim Wushishi, alongside members of his team, paid a courtesy visit to the newly appointed Commissioner of Police in Lagos, CP Moshood Jimoh. During the visit, Professor Wushishi, a longtime associate of the police commissioner, congratulated him on his new role and assured the Lagos State Police Command of NECO's continued support. In response, CP Jimoh expressed gratitude for the visit and used the opportunity to request the establishment of NECO examination centers in select police barracks across the state. He also reaffirmed the police command's unwavering support for the council's operations.
Purposely, we are here to congratulate our friend and wish him well. And by the grace of God, we will continue to partner. And I want to say it categorically here that whenever we have anything that you feel NECO can be part of, so that we partner and assist you, we will, by the grace of God, continue to oblige you. On behalf of management, on behalf of myself, management, and entire staff of NECO across Nigeria, I present to CP Jimoh, Lagos State Commissioner of Police, this letter of congratulations.
Here, a lot of police barracks, a lot of police formation, a lot of area command, and no NECO center. We have NECO center anywhere. So you are going to please assist us to ensure that we have this center so that the family, the children, and the wards of police officers and personnel can take advantage of NECO to be able to register and pass the exam properly. Equally assure you that with myself being at the helm of the affair here, we doubled the assistance and the cooperation with NECO in the conduct of all your exams and other responsibility that you need to carry out in Lagos State. It shall continue to be itch-free. Then I want to underscore the fact that if there are any area that you feel we should improve upon, please don't hesitate to equally draw attention to such an area.
You're watching News Now on News Central Television. Let's go on a short break, but coming up, survivor of M23 rally attack recounts horror after twin blast shock eastern DR Congo. We have the details shortly. Join us again. At least 11 people have been killed and around 60 injured after two explosions rocked a rally held by the M23 armed group in Bukavu, eastern DR Congo. Eyewitnesses described scenes of chaos and devastation. The first blast triggered panic, sending people fleeing before a second explosion went off. President Felix Tshisekedi has condemned the attack, calling it a heinous terrorist act. The explosions occurred after thousands had gathered for a rally attended by Cornelia Nangaa, who is the leader of a coalition that includes M23. The cause of the blasts remains unclear. Eastern DR Congo, a mineral-rich region, has seen escalating conflict with M23 fighters seizing key territories in recent weeks.
Tukona sashe ya nwari inatoka muhewa, inatosha umoshi ikaonka katikati ya batu. Apres ma de seconde ikaripuka. Mukuripuka beliripukia ko pale chini abakulamuka. Benye walibona kisa kujisove bakakimbia bakatupa ingine ya pili.
Kwa sasa sijisikie be. Sijisikia hata be. Niko sikia tu mgulu inatafunia ndani wake anzio mgongo kushuka kule chini. Abiko bi na niko sikia vertige. Nganga walisema dosage yangu ilishuka sana. Ilifika -5. Kasema sasa nilipoteza damu ya mingi. Juu walikuwa mbele yangu wote walikufa. Niliregrete kuona, nilikuwa ogopa kwanza mgulu itakatika. Mungu anasaidia mgulu inatoka ya mzima. Nilikuwa ogopa sana gisi mgulu inaweza nikatika. Ndio ndiweza kuwa na regret kuona ya vipi ilinifikia.
South Sudanese authorities are set to replace an army contingent in Upper Nile following deadly clashes in two regions that have killed civilians, injured a UN peacekeeper, and displaced thousands. Fighting erupted earlier this month, resulting in civilian casualties and wounding a peacekeeper. Human Rights Watch has warned of an alarming surge of violence in the region. A 24-page report by the UN Commission on Human Rights in South Sudan, based on independent UN investigations meetings with local officials as well as open source material and forensic analysis, reveals how political and military elites continue to fuel violence and instability. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky believes U.S.-Ukraine relations can still be salvaged despite a fiery clash with President Donald Trump at the White House. Zelensky said the issue is about the relationship between nations, not just the two leaders. Meanwhile, Trump accused the visiting Ukrainian leader of overplaying his hand during an extraordinary Oval Office confrontation. He maintained that he wants a ceasefire. The heated exchange between Trump and Zelensky unfolded as efforts to broker an end to the war with Russia remain deadlocked.
Right now, you're playing cards. You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're gambling
I'm the
with the
president
lives of
anymore.
millions of people. You're gambling with World War III.
What do you think
You're
about?
gambling with
What do you
World
think
War
about?
III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's
with
back
all
to
respect to
you.
your
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once? This
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October, all for
France President Emmanuel Macron warned on Friday that EU would impose reciprocal tariffs on U.S. steel and aluminum if U.S. President Donald Trump proceeds with his threatened 25% duties on European imports. Speaking during a state visit to Portugal, Macron emphasized that Europe must protect itself and respond accordingly. He said if the U.S. tariffs are confirmed, Europeans will respond with similar measures, highlighting the EU's commitment to defending its interests in the face of potential trade disruptions. The statement underscores ongoing tensions in international trade relations between the U.S. and Europe.
Donc je pense qu'il y a une erreur de principe et qu'il y a une erreur de tempo. Bon, ensuite, une fois qu'on a dit ça, il y a des premiers tarifs qui ont été mis. L'Atos Insu, pas que sur les Européens, sur l'aluminium et l'acier. S'ils sont confirmés, les Européens répondront. Et donc il y aura des tarifs réciproques, parce qu'il faut qu'on se protège, qu'on se défende. Et si, début avril, comme cela a été annoncé, des tarifs étaient mis sur les produits européens, à cette hauteur-là, les Européens auront à répondre, parce que nous n'avons pas à répondre, nous n'avons pas en quelque sorte...
Takara FC claimed a walkover victory today when their opponents 1472 FC of Lagos failed to show up for their scheduled match in Uyo. Takara players and officials waited on the field for over 30 minutes before referee Kelechi Naji officially declared a walkover, awarding the home team 3 points and 3 goals. 1472 FC has earlier missed a technical meeting without explanation, raising concerns about their appearance. This result gives Dakara FC 14 points from 10 matches as the first half of the season concludes, while 1472 FC remains at the bottom of Conference A with just 4 points. Dakara FC, the 2019 NNL champions, now looks ahead to the second stanza of the campaign. Samuel Eto'o's bid for the Confederation of African Football Executive Committee remains uncertain as the Court of Arbitration for Sport (CAS) has postponed its ruling on his eligibility until April the 2nd. The FACAFOOT president was initially barred from the election due to a CAF-imposed ban, but was later cleared by the CAF Appeal Committee. However, he still needs CAS approval to complete the delay, meaning and that means that the delay means the verdict will come after the CAF Executive Committee election scheduled for March 12, 2025, leaving Eto'o's participation in doubt. Cameroon finds itself at the center of controversy after a massive age fraud scandal has rocked its youth football program. The country's football federation is currently locked in a dispute with Central African Republic officials over allegations of fielding overage players in under-17 qualifiers. Reports indicate a staggering 62 players have been found guilty of age falsification. All those players now face indefinite suspension for misrepresenting their true ages. This scandal marks another setback for Cameroonian football, which has previously faced similar controversies in youth competitions. Manchester City's Rodri is back on the training pitch after months on the sidelines. The Ballon d'Or winner completed an individual workout of the Etihad campus on Friday. The 28-year-old Spain international has been out since September with a serious knee injury, a ruptured ACL. In his absence, City has struggled, falling 20 points behind Premier League leaders Liverpool and exiting the Champions League altogether. Now, footage released by the club shows the player running drills, but the manager, Pep Guardiola, is urging patience. He says that Rodri is recovering well, but will return step by step. Rodri was named in City's Champions League squad in February, but the team was knocked out by Real Madrid in the playoffs. And that's all we can take at this hour, but before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. As fuel scarcity looms, Ipman is seeking government action as supply threatens to halt distribution. President Bola Tinubu, Sultan of Sokoto, has sought prayers for Nigeria as Ramadan begins. And we also told you that survivors of the M23 rally attack have recounted their experience after twin blast shook eastern DR Congo. As always, you can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, on Star Times channel 274. Find us on Avo TV or stream us live on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Judith at TV.